It's 2:47 and James Cooper is alone in a dark gym, cleaning mirrors that don't need cleaning. Again, he's 34 years old. He hasn't slept more than 3 hours straight in 9 years. And right now, watching his reflection appear and disappear as he wipes down the glass, he's trying very hard not to remember why. The Timex watch on his wrist stopped working at exactly 2:47 p.m. on a Tuesday in Afghanistan. He still winds it every morning anyway. Muscle memory. Ritual. Punishment, he's not entirely sure which anymore. His hands shake slightly as he sprays the cleaning solution. That pine scent, Sarah's favorite. His wife. Past tense. 18 months now. But the grief is still so fresh, it cuts like new glass every single time. A sound erupts from somewhere deep in his chest, not quite a sob, more like the ghost of one, and James catches himself, straightens up, snaps the pink hair tie on his wrist 3 times, hard. It's his daughter Emma's, 8 years old, the only thing in this world that matters. The pain centers him, brings him back. He keeps cleaning. What you need to understand is that James Cooper is invisible. Not metaphorically, actually invisible. He's been working night shift at Titanium Fitness and MMA Academy for 3 years. And he can count on one hand the number of people who know his full name. He's the guy who empties the trash, who mops the blood and sweat off the mats after the fighters go home, who restocks the paper towels and scrubs the toilets and makes sure the mirrors are perfect for all those Instagram warriors who need to see themselves looking dangerous. 3 jobs, 16-hour days. And he's still 2 weeks away from eviction. But here's the thing. Nobody knows, not his boss, not the fighters who don't see him. Not even Emma. James Cooper used to be someone completely different. Someone dangerous. Someone so skilled at violence that the United States Marine Corps made him a chief instructor. One of only 41 in the entire world, responsible for teaching other Marines how to kill efficiently and come home alive. He failed at the second part. And he spent every single day since trying to bury the first. The flashback hits without warning. They always do at 2:47. Sand. Heat. The sound of his younger brother Tommy's voice screaming his name. The explosion. The silence after. And then the worst sound of all. His own voice, begging someone who was already gone to please stay. James braces himself against the mirror, forehead pressed to the glass, breathing through his nose the way the VA therapist taught him before he stopped going because he couldn't afford the copay, and also because sitting in a room talking about feelings doesn't bring back 9 dead Marines. 9, not 8, like the official report said. 9, because his brother Tommy wasn't counted the same way because of conflict of interest protocols, which is military speak for, we're covering our ass by separating the narrative. He straightens up, keeps cleaning. This is what he does now. This is what he's good for. In about 6 hours, James Cooper is going to do something in 12 seconds that will be watched by 2.3 million people. And it's going to destroy his entire carefully constructed life of invisibility in ways he can't even imagine yet. But right now, he doesn't know that. Right now, he's just trying to make it to sunrise. 6:15 a.m. James pulls up to Mrs. Chen's house in his 2004 Honda Civic that burns oil and needs new brake pads he can't afford. Emma's been here overnight. His 3rd consecutive shift meant 16 hours straight, and 8-year-olds need things like sleep and supervision. Mrs. Chen only charges $20. She knows he's drowning. Everyone knows. In that way, neighbors know things they're too polite to mention. Emma's pretending to be asleep on the couch when he comes in, but her breathing's all wrong. She wants him to carry her. So he does. Even though his back is screaming from hours of mopping, even though she's getting too big for this, even though he knows he's teaching her it's okay to need him, and one day very soon she's going to learn that needing people is how you get hurt. In the car, she opens her eyes. You smell like pine sol again. That's my fancy cologne, kiddo. Mommy liked pine trees. Matter of fact, 8-year-old truth. Yeah, she did. They pull up to their apartment studio, $2,400 a month, which is insane, but everything in Riverside, New Jersey is insane now because of development and revitalization, which are rich people words for, we're taking your neighborhood. There's a notice on the door. Updated. James positions himself to block Emma's view as he tears it down. The original eviction notice said 14 days. This one says 7. Someone changed it. Expedited it. He doesn't know why yet, but his gut trained through 3 tours in Afghanistan to recognize threats before his brain catches up his gut. Knows this is personal. He crumples the paper, shoves it in his pocket, opens the door with a smile he doesn't feel. Home, sweet home. Emma goes straight to the kitchen table where her colored pencils are scattered around a drawing. The same drawing she's been working on for months. A house, blue shutters, small porch, stars visible through an upstairs window. Is that for art class? James asks, making breakfast. Last 3 eggs. Bread that's 1 day from mold. Powdered milk because the real stuff is $4 and that might as well be 400. No, just dreaming. She says it so simply. Just dreaming. Like it's a casual hobby. Like her dreams aren't this specific house 3 blocks away that used to be theirs before medical bills swallowed everything. He doesn't know she walks by it every day after school. Doesn't know she remembers her mother there, laughing, alive, painting stars on her ceiling. He doesn't know she's drawing their past, not their future. Emma puts on her mother's cardigan, huge on her. Sleeves rolled up 4 times, but she wears it every single day and asks the question that will haunt him later. Dad, can I ask you something? Anything, sweetheart. Why don't you ever get mad? He freezes, spatula halfway to the pan. What do you mean? Tommy's dad yells at soccer games. Mrs. Chen yells at her TV. You never yell, even when people are mean to you. He doesn't ask how she knows people are mean to him. Kids see everything. Getting mad doesn't fix things, Em. Work fixes things. She looks at him with those eyes, Sarah's eyes, and he can see she doesn't believe him, but she loves him enough not to push. Okay, Daddy. They eat breakfast in silence, and James does the math in his head for the 1,000th time. Rent, $2,400. Utilities, $180. Groceries, $450 if he's careful. Childcare, $800. Emma's asthma medication, $300. His wife's leftover medical debt, minimum payment, $200. Car insurance, $140. Income from 3 jobs, $3,100. The math doesn't work. It hasn't worked in 18 months. He's been bleeding savings from when he had a real job, a real life, a real rank. Captain James Cooper, USMC. That money's almost gone. 7 days until eviction. His phone buzzes. Emma's school. She needs her inhaler refilled. The prescription expired. New one costs $85. He closes his eyes, opens them. Okay, I'll handle it. Emma's watching him. 8 years old, and she's already learned to read disaster on her father's face. It's okay if you can't, Daddy. I'll be careful. I won't run at recess. Do you see it? An 8-year-old child, comforting her father. About $85. Rationing her own breath so he doesn't have to spend money. This is what poverty does. It makes children old. Cut to 9 a.m. Same city, different world. Derek Kovac, 6'2", spray-tanned, professionally groomed beard, wearing athleisure that costs more than James makes in a week, is filming his morning Instagram story in the front section of Titanium Fitness. What's up, Dragon Warriors? His voice booms, charismatic, practiced. Today we're going to talk about real strength versus gym strength, and why most people, he stops. Repetitions. In the background of his phone screen, barely visible, James is walking past with trash bag. Derek shifts angles until the janitor is out of frame, then continues without missing a beat. Why most people will never understand what it takes to be a warrior in this world. It's not about muscles, it's about mindset. 340,000 followers eat it up. Comments flood in. Fire emojis. Flexed biceps. You're so inspirational, Derek. What they don't see. Derek checking his follower count obsessively between takes. He's down 3,000 this week. There's a younger fighter, more authentic, whose knockout video went viral. Derek's algorithm is dying. What they don't see. The way his smile doesn't reach his eyes. The way he glances at his championship belt hanging in the lobby, and something like shame flickers across his face before he buries it. Derek Kovac is 29 years old. Rich, skilled, and completely empty. His phone rings. Dad on the screen. He almost doesn't answer. Derek. Membership numbers are down. Hi, Dad. I'm good. Thanks for asking. I didn't invest $400,000 in this gym for you to play fighter. When are you competing again? I'm building the brand, focusing on, your brother built something that mattered before he died. What are you building? And there it is. Michael, always Michael, Army Ranger, killed in action 2014, the son his father actually loved. Derek opens his mouth to respond, but his father's already hung up. He stares at his phone, at his own reflection in the gym mirror, at the belt on the wall that he knows he didn't truly earn because his opponent blew out his knee in the first round and Derek won by default, but held that belt up for the cameras anyway because he's been faking it his entire life. He needs something real, needs a moment, needs to feel like he actually earned something. Saturday morning, kids' class. Free scholarships for underprivileged families. It's good for Derek's image, good for the gym's community outreach, and occasionally good for content. Emma Cooper is in the back row, too big cardigan over her G, trying to pay attention. Derek's demonstrating a basic takedown. Emma raises her hand. Mr. Kovac, when you transition from guard to... Sweetie, let's focus on getting the basics first, before we worry about details, okay? Patronizing smile. Emma shrinks. Another kid, Tyler, whose parents pay full-price Snickers at her cardigan. Why do you wear that ugly thing? Derek's on his phone, checking engagement metrics. Doesn't intervene. Emma pulls the cardigan tighter. It still smells like her mother, just barely, and she'd rather die than take it off. What Derek doesn't know, this scholarship kid is the daughter of a man who used to teach combat systems to Force Recon Marines. This quiet girl in the oversized cardigan has her father's instincts, her mother's determination, and she's watching Derek with the particular clarity of children who've learned that adults lie. She doesn't like him. Not because he's mean, he's not, exactly, but because he reminds her of the kids at school who have everything and notice nothing. What Derek also doesn't know, his father, Leonard Kovac, owns the building Emma and James are being evicted from. That the demolition notice on the house Emma draws every single day? Kovac Development. The threads are already connected. Nobody sees the web yet. 11 a.m. James at his second job. Grocery store, stockroom. Manager Tim is 45, divorced, angry at the world in that specific way of men who peaked in high school. Cooper, you're 4 minutes late. James glances at the clock. He's not. The clock is wrong, has been wrong for 6 months. But James says, sorry, sir, won't happen again. Because that's what invisible people do. They apologize for things that aren't their fault because fighting costs energy they don't have. He stocks shelves for 3 hours. A woman walks directly into him without apologizing, without even seeing him, because he's wearing a stock vest, which means he's furniture. Lunch break in his car. $43 in his wallet until Friday. Rent due in 7 days. $2,400. He takes out a notebook, the kind Emma uses for school, $1.50 from the dollar store, and does the math again. Writes down every possible combination of shifts, hours, plasma donation, selling the car, calling in favors he doesn't have. No combination works. His phone buzzes. The school again. Emma needs her inhaler. Today, she had trouble in gym class. $85. James closes his eyes, opens his banking app. $340.67 in checking. If he pays for the inhaler, he can't pay for groceries. If he pays for groceries, he can't pay for gas. If he pays for gas, he can't pay the electric bill. The math is a knife that cuts no matter how you hold it. He opens his laptop, 5-year-old Dell, that takes 3 minutes to boot up and hovers over the VA benefits website. There's money there. Support he's entitled to. Medical coverage, housing assistance, disability payments for PTSD. All he has to do is fill out the forms. Admit he needs help. Admit he's broken. Admit that his brother died because of him, and he doesn't deserve help, doesn't deserve anything except this slow, grinding poverty that feels like penance. He closes the laptop, searches instead. Plasma donation, centers near me. You can donate twice a week. $70 per donation. That's $560 a month. Not enough to save him, but enough to buy medicine. And maybe Maybe keep Emma's breath coming easy. First appointment available. Monday. He'll be fine until then. Emma will be fine. She'll just avoid running. It's fine. Everything's fine. 6 p.m. James arrives at Titanium for his night shift. The gym is packed, golden hour light streaming through the high warehouse windows, making everything look noble and purposeful. Hip-hop pounds from the speakers. Beautiful people doing beautiful violence. He changes in the locker room, alone, opens his locker, and there's a photo taped inside. Him in marine dress uniform, Sarah in a yellow sundress, baby Emma, and another young Marine with James's exact same eyes. Tommy, his younger brother, 23 years old forever. James touches the photo like it might dissolve. Sometimes he can't remember Tommy's voice anymore, and that feels like killing him twice. He closes the locker, puts on his cleaning vest, becomes invisible again. Out on the gym floor, Derek is training with Brix Morrison, the head MMA instructor. 45 years old, scar tissue and cauliflower ears, and the kind of tired eyes that come from too many fights in too many small venues for too little money. Brix is demonstrating combinations. Derek's filming it, of course. Everything is content. Everything is performance. From her office overlooking the gym floor, Elena Vargas watches with her arms crossed. 52 years old, former Olympic judo alternate, Cuban accent she's never tried to soften, and increasingly disgusted with what this place has become. She watches Derek film himself, watches James empty a trash can 6 feet away from Derek, completely invisible, watches the whole grotesque theater of it. But she watches James longest. There's something about the way he moves. Economy of motion. Balance. The way he positions himself, always near exits, always with wall coverage, always aware of everyone's position even when he seems to be focused on trash. She's seen that before, just can't place where. James works his way around the gym, wiping down equipment, restocking towels. Invisible, patient, careful. He's near the training mats when he hears Derek talking to another fighter, loud enough to carry. Bro, these new luxury condos going up on Maple Street? My dad's development. Gonna make bank. James stops moving. Maple Street. That's his building. Yeah, we're clearing out all the old tenants. Old tenants. Like furniture. Like things that need removing. Dad says poor people always complain, but never actually do anything, you know? They just accept it. The pink hair tie on James's wrist snaps. Not from him pulling it. From tension. It falls to the floor in slow motion. James stares at it. Emma's hair tie. The one she gave him after Sarah died, and he couldn't stop shaking. And Emma, 6 years old, said, "Daddy, when you're scared, hold this and think of me." And now it's broken. Derek continues oblivious. Honestly, we're doing them a favor. Neighborhoods get better when you clear out the Derek. Elena's voice cuts across the gym. Office, now. Derek rolls his eyes but goes. Elena follows, and Brix catches her expression. She's furious. James picks up the hair tie, tries to tie it back together. It won't hold. For the first time in 9 years, something shifts behind his eyes. Not rage, not yet, but the foundation of whatever's been holding the rage back develops a crack. Elena's office. Door closed. Derek defensive before she even speaks. What's your problem, E? My problem is you're becoming exactly what I was afraid you'd become when we started this partnership. What's that supposed to mean? It means you're using people as props. Those kids in the Saturday class? That janitor you don't even see? They're human beings, Derek. I give those kids free classes. You give them content opportunities. There's a difference. Derek's face flushes. You know what? I'm tired of you acting like you're better than me. Your half of this gym exists because my father's money saved your ass 5 years ago. It lands. Elena flinches. Because it's true. She'd lost everything: her own gym, her savings, her pride to a bad business partner and a worse divorce. Leonard Kovac's investment saved her, and she's been compromising ever since. You're right, she says quietly. I took his money, and I've regretted it every single day. Derek softens slightly. He's not evil, he's just hollow. There's a difference. Look, Elena says. I'm buying myself out. I've been saving. Give me 6 months and I'll sell you my half of the gym. Elena, I'm done, Derek. I'm done watching you perform generosity. instead of actually being generous. I'm done being part of this. She gestures at the gym floor, the Instagram lights, the performance of authenticity. Derek wants to argue, but he knows she's right. About all of it. 6 months, Elena says. Then you can run this place however you want. She hands him an envelope. Cooper, the janitor. This is extra for deep cleaning my office. $200. Give it to him. Derek looks at the envelope. Did he actually clean your... Just give it to him. After Derek leaves, Elena sits at her desk. Behind her, on the wall, is a framed photograph. Her old Marine unit, 1992, at a joint training exercise in Quantico. She doesn't notice the young face barely visible in the background. 19-year-old James Cooper, before he was captain, before he was broken, before he learned that being good at violence is a curse disguised as a skill. But she feels something, a nagging recognition she can't quite place. She opens her laptop and types, Marine MCMAP Chief Instructors. Not sure why. Just following instinct. 9 p.m. The gym is mostly empty now. Serious fighters only. Bricks is working the heavy bag alone. That methodical precision of someone who's been doing this for 30 years. James is cleaning nearby. Bricks has left his iPad on the bench, accidentally playing training footage. Advanced MC map techniques. Military combatives. James glances at the screen while wiping down a bench. His body language shifts just slightly, just for 3 seconds, and everything about him changes. Posture, balance. The micro adjustments of someone who's internalized these movements so deeply they're closer to breathing than thinking. Then he forces himself to look away. But Bricks caught it. In the mirror reflection. Bricks stops hitting the bag. You know this stuff. Statement. Not a question. James freezes. Just seen it around. YouTube. Nah. Bricks walks over. Stands too close, reading him. I trained with a Marine once. Kid named Tommy Cooper. James goes absolutely still. Fight or flight chemicals dumping into his bloodstream. You move like him, Bricks continues. Same economy. Same positioning. Common name. James's voice is flat. He had a brother. Instructor. Never talked about him much, except to say his brother was the best fighter he'd ever seen. Scary good. Like, could have gone pro in anything but chose to serve good. Silence. The gym's air conditioning hums. Someone drops a weight across the room. Tommy died, Bricks says quietly. Ed. Afghanistan, those meal kints. Whole unit gone. James's hands are shaking. He shoves them in his pockets. I'm sorry for your loss. He walks away quickly. Bricks calls after him. Whoever you were before this, man, it's still in there. James doesn't turn around. Can't. Because if he does, if he makes eye contact, if he acknowledges the truth, then the wall he's built between Captain James Cooper and James Cooper the janitor will collapse, and he doesn't know if he'll survive that. 10 p.m. James picks up Emma from Mrs. Chen's house. Daddy, you smell like pine sol and sweat. That's my new cologne. Pine, sweat, very exclusive. She giggles. In the car, she should be falling asleep, but instead, Dad, I need $15 for the field trip on Friday. His heart sinks. When's Friday? 3 days. He does mental math. After the inhaler, after gas, after the absolute minimum groceries, impossible. Let me see what I can do, okay? Emma sees his face, reads the disaster. And this 8-year-old child says, it's okay if I can't go, Daddy. Field trips are kind of boring anyway. She's lying. He knows she's lying. She wants to go desperately. But she loves him enough to pretend she doesn't care. You'll go, he promises. I'll figure it out. In the apartment, Emma falls asleep on the couch immediately. The crash, after pretending to have energy you don't have. James carries her to her bed. The bed singular, because they share the studio apartment and he sleeps on the couch. He sits at the kitchen table, head in his hands. Opens his laptop. VA benefits website again. The forms are right there. He could apply. Could get help. Could admit that he wakes up at 2:47 a.m. every single night because that's when the explosion happened. Could admit that he can't be in crowds because too many people means too many threats, means his training kicks in and he starts calculating exit routes and kill zones. Could admit that he's drowning. Can't do it. Instead, he searches plasma donation walk-in hours. Then he sees Emma's drawing on the table. The house with blue shutters. He knows that house. 447 Maple Street, 3 blocks away. They lived there when Emma was born, when Sarah was healthy, when he was still Captain Cooper with a future instead of James Cooper with 3 jobs and a breaking mind. They lost it 18 months ago. Medical bills, Sarah's cancer treatment. He'd sold everything, his truck, her jewelry, their savings, and it still wasn't enough. Last week he'd walked past it. Kovac development notice in the window, demolition scheduled 10/24, 4 days from now. Emma doesn't know. She thinks the house still exists as possibility, thinks maybe someday they'll go back. He hasn't told her they're erasing even the memory. Tears fall silently onto the drawing. He doesn't wipe them away, just lets them fall. This is what you don't see in those viral videos of inspiring comebacks and hero stories. You don't see the 10 p.m. kitchen table crying, the mental math that never works, the 8-year-old rationing her own dreams to protect her father's feelings. You don't see the cost of surviving. Next evening, Sunday, 7 p.m. The gym is packed. Derek is running a Train with the Dragon session. Paying members can spar with him for Instagram content, $100 per session. Usually it's fun, light, educational. Tonight Derek's going hard. Too hard. He's amped up from his father's call, from Elena's disappointment, from the slow leak of followers, from the constant performance of being someone he's not. He's sparring with a smaller guy, maybe 160 pounds to Derek's 195, and Derek's not pulling his punches, not adjusting for skill difference. Bricks intervenes. Derek, bring it down. Derek shoves him off. I know what I'm doing. The sparring partner taps out. Derek holds the submission 3 seconds too long. The guy limps off, embarrassed, and you can see the exact moment he decides never to come back to this gym. The room goes quiet. That specific silence of people witnessing someone lose control. Derek overcompensates, too loud. Who's next? Anyone? Come on, warriors. Who wants to test themselves? Nobody moves. They're scared. Not of him, of the liability of his instability. Derek, scanning the room desperately, needs someone. Anyone. Needs to feel dominant again after being made to feel small by his father, by Elena, by life. His eyes land on James. James is emptying trash near the mats, invisible, doing his job. Hey, you, cleaning guy. James looks up, already knows this won't end well. Knows it in his bones. Me? Yeah, you. What's your name again? James, Mr. Kovac. The Mr. Kovac stings. Reminder that Derek is the boss's son, that he's never earned anything himself. James, you're here every day. You watch us train. You ever want to try? People chuckle. Not mean, exactly. But not kind either. James, no sir. Just here to work. Come on, man, it's fun. I'll teach you some moves. From her office, Elena. Derek, leave him alone. Derek ignores her. And here's where it happens. Here's where Derek makes the offer that will change everything. Tell you what, James, you step on this mat with me, just 1 round, and I'll pay your rent for a month. How's that? The gym goes dead silent. Everyone's watching now. Phones coming out. This is content. This is drama. James should say no, should walk away, should stay invisible. But Derek keeps talking. What is it? Like $2,400? Easy money, man. 30 seconds. You last 30 seconds without tapping. I'll cut the check right now. 2,400美元. The exact amount between James and eviction. Between Emma having a home and sleeping in a car. James looks at the mat. At Derek's cocky smile that doesn't quite hide his desperation. At Elena shaking her head in disgust from the office. At Brix's carefully neutral face. He thinks of Emma saying, it's okay if I can't go about a $15 field trip. Thinks of the inhaler prescription he can't afford. Thinks of the house being demolished in 4 days. Thinks of his brother Tommy saying, you're the best fighter I've ever seen 3 days before the explosion. 30 seconds? James asks quietly. Derek grins. 30 seconds. Then you can get back to mopping. And here's where James Cooper makes the choice he'll regret for the rest of his life. He sets down his cleaning supplies. Steps toward the mat. Bricks is staring at him now. Really staring. Because he recognizes the walk, the positioning, the way James is already calculating angles and distances without thinking about it. "I'll do it," James says. "But not for 30 seconds. Derek raises an eyebrow. "Oh? How long then, champ?" "However long it takes." Something in James's voice makes the entire gym stop breathing. "However long what takes?" Derek asks, smile faltering. James steps onto the mat, doesn't remove his work boots, doesn't stretch, just stands there with a particular stillness of people who've done real violence and know exactly what it costs. "For you to tap," James says flatly, "or sleep." Now Derek's smile is completely gone, but his pride won't let him back down. Not in front of everyone. Not on camera. "Big talk from rules," James interrupts. His voice has changed. This isn't James the janitor. This is someone else. Someone older. No strikes to throat or eyes. You tap, we stop. You verbally submit, we stop. You go unconscious, I let go immediately. Agreed? This is military language. Rules of engagement. Bricks recognizes it immediately. Elena is walking closer now, alert, because she recognizes it too, even if she doesn't know why yet. Derek's trapped. Can't back down without looking weak. Sure. Tough guy. Okay. He turns to his phone, propped up recording. "So apparently James wants to, and when I win," James says, "you pay Emma's field trip. $15. That's all I want." Derek laughs. "Emma? Who's?" "My daughter. She's in your Saturday class. The one you ignored last week when the other kids made fun of her." Derek doesn't remember her. Doesn't even pretend to. "Sure, buddy. $15. But when you tap in 5 seconds, you admit on camera you don't belong here. Deal?" James just removes his glasses, sets them carefully aside, folds them, places them exactly perpendicular to the mat edge. The gym is silent now. Even the music seems quieter. Derek approaches, hands low, cocky. "Okay, let's..." What happens next takes 12 seconds. 12 seconds is nothing. It's how long you've been reading since I said, "What happens next?" It's 3 heartbeats. It's a breath. But 12 seconds can recontextualize an entire life. Second one. James closes distance faster than should be possible for someone untrained. He's inside Derek's reach before Derek's brain processes the movement. Second 2. Derek throws a punch. James doesn't dodge, he redirects with minimal hand contact, using Derek's own momentum. Derek stumbles. Confusion on his face. Seconds 3 and 4. Derek resets, shoots for a takedown. This is his specialty, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Black belt. Competition. Tested. But James sprawls with absolute perfect technique. Hips back. Drives Derek's face toward the mat but doesn't slam it. Controlled. Gentle. Even. Seconds 5 and 6. James transitions to Derek's back in one motion. No wasted movement. Like water flowing downhill. The gym gasps. Even the experienced fighters recognize this is high level. Seconds 7 through 9. Rear naked choke. But not the way Derek knows it. James uses a MC map variation called Garden of Stone. One arm across the throat, the other controlling posture, body positioning that makes escape biomechanically impossible. It's the kind of technique only 41 people in the world can execute properly. Second 10. Derek realizes he can't breathe, can't move, can't do anything. Panic floods his system. Second 11. James whispers in Derek's ear. So quiet only Derek hears. "You humiliate people for content. You mock my daughter. You evict families for profit." Second 12. Derek's hand slaps the mat frantically, tapping, submitting, begging. James releases instantly. Stands, steps back, extends his hand to help Derek up. Total elapsed time. 12 seconds. The gym erupts. Everyone checking phones. Did someone film it? Holy shit. Someone filmed it. Already texting, posting, sharing. Derek is gasping on the mat, humiliated, confused, terrified. Because he's a legitimate black belt, and he just got dismantled by a janitor in work boots in less time than it takes to tie your shoes. James picks up his glasses. His hands are shaking. Not from exertion, From horror, the $15, he says quietly, for Emma's field trip. His voice is completely calm, but if you looked close, if anyone was actually looking at him instead of their phones, you'd see he's coming apart. Derek scrambles up, face red. What the fuck was that? You said you never trained. I didn't say that. You assumed. Elena is staring at James with dawning recognition. Bricks has a slight smile. The gym is chaos now, people re-watching the video, debating what they just saw. You set me up, Derek's shouting. You're some kind of who are you? James is shaking now. Full body tremors. Not from fear. From the horror of what he just did. The violence he swore off. The promise he broke. He looks at his hands like they betrayed him. I'm sorry, he whispers. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. You think you embarrassed me? Derek's not listening. You're fired. Get out. Security. Derek. Elena's voice cuts through. You challenged him. He won. You made the terms. I don't care. He's done here. But James is already moving, gathering his cleaning supplies, going to the locker room. He needs to get away, needs to breathe, needs to not be here where everyone's staring and filming, and he just became visible in the worst possible way. Bricks follows him. The locker room is fluorescent bright and smells like disinfectant and old sweat. James is at the sink, hands braced on the porcelain, breathing hard. The PTSD episode hits like a train. Suddenly, he's not in New Jersey. He's in Afghanistan. Sand and blood and the sound of Tommy screaming and the explosion and the silence after and his own voice begging, and the sound design of the world goes muffled, distorted, everything underwater. James. Brick's voice, distant. Hey, breathe. I promised. James is crying now, full sobs. I promised Sarah I'd never. You defended yourself, man. I'm not supposed to be that anymore. He's shouting and crying, and the 9 years of holding it together are collapsing in real time. My brother died because of what I am. I taught him everything. I designed the exercise that killed him, and I liked it those 12 seconds. I liked how it felt, and that makes me. He can't finish, can't say it, that he's disgusted with himself. That feeling competent at violence felt like coming home, and that's the most horrifying thing he's ever experienced. Bricks is quiet for a long moment. Then, Tommy told me once his brother was the best man he knew. Said you took the hit for someone else's mistake. Said you tried to save everyone. James looks at him. He talked about me? All the time, man. He worshipped you. This breaks James completely. He slides down the wall, sits on the floor, head in his hands. That technique you used, Brick says carefully. Garden of Stone. That's tan belt level MC map. There's maybe 40 people in the world who. 41. James corrects automatically, then catches himself. Long silence. You were his instructor, Brick says. Not a question. I was supposed to keep him safe. You were supposed to teach him to fight. You did. The IED wasn't your fault. You don't understand. James looks up. I designed that exercise. I chose the location. I approved the equipment. And Tommy, he wasn't even supposed to be there. He got transferred to my unit as a surprise. Wanted to work with his big brother. And 3 days later he was dead because he can't continue. Brick sits down next to him on the grimy locker room floor. 2 broken men in a fluorescent room that smells like pine sol. Tommy told me something the last time I saw him. He said, my brother's the best fighter alive. But the thing that makes him great isn't the fighting. It's that he hates it. He does it because someone has to. Because it protects people. But he hates it. That's why I trust him. People who love violence shouldn't have power. People who hate it but do it anyway, those are the only ones who should. James closes his eyes. He was proud of you, man. Right up until the end. While James is having his breakdown in the locker room, the video is going viral. Someone's phone footage. 12 seconds. Janitor destroys black belt in 12 seconds. 10,000 views. 50,000. 100,000. TikTok. Instagram. Twitter. Reddit. The view counter climbing like a rocket. Derek is in the gym office, watching it spread in real time. His humiliation being commodified, memeified, turned into content, comments flooding in. That janitor is secret military. Derek got humbled. Plot twist of the century. That technique was nasty. Derek's follower count is actually rising. People love watching privilege get checked. Love the underdog story. The narrative is writing itself. But Derek's not reading the comments. He's watching the video on loop, trying to understand how he got beaten so completely, so quickly, by a man in work boots who never even broke a sweat. Elena is in her office, watching the same video. But she pauses it at the moment of the technique, rewinds, watches James's body position, the specific grip, the way he transitions. She's seen that before. She opens an old Marine Corps training manual from her bookshelf, flips to the Advanced MC Map section. Garden of Stone, instructor level only. Developed 2012 by Captain J. Cooper, USMC. Her hands shake. She looks at the framed photo on her wall. The joint training exercise, 1992. Grabs her phone, zooms in on the background. There, barely visible. A young face she recognizes now. Younger, unbroken, but the same eyes. She opens her laptop, types, MCMAP, Chief Instructor Afghanistan 2015 IED. News article from 9 years ago. Training exercise tragedy. 8 dead, 1 survivor. Photo of James in dress uniform. Caption, Captain James Cooper, head instructor, sole survivor of Kandahar training incident. She reads, Captain Cooper, 25, designed the training exercise that resulted in 8 fatalities when equipment malfunctioned. An investigation cleared Cooper of negligence, but sources say he resigned his commission immediately following the incident. Elena sits back, the janitor who's been cleaning her office for 3 years, who moves like a ghost, who never makes eye contact, who she pays extra because something in his eyes reminded her of young Marines she'd served with. He's not a janitor. He's one of the most decorated MC Map instructors in Marine Corps history. And he's been hiding in plain sight. Back on the gym floor, James emerges from the locker room. He looks destroyed, eyes red, hands still shaking. The gym has mostly cleared out, but phones are still everywhere. Recording, documenting, turning his worst moment into entertainment. Emma appears in the doorway. Mrs. Chen dropped her off early for Saturday morning kids class. Emma's wearing her mother's cardigan, carrying her gym bag, excited because she loves the class, even though Derek ignores her. She sees her father, sees everyone staring, sees phones filming. Daddy? James turns, sees his daughter, and the look on his face pure devastation because she's seeing him like this, exposed, visible, the thing he's been protecting her from. Emma runs to him, hugs him, everyone watching, recording. Derek sees this. That's your kid? The scholarship? He stops, realizes. The quiet girl in the oversized cardigan, the one he dismissed, the one he ignored when other kids were mean to her. She's the daughter of the man who just humiliated him on camera. Emma is confused. Why is everyone looking? She sees the video on someone's phone. Her dad, fighting. Is that you? You know how to fight? James kneels down, eye level. I used to, baby. Long time ago. Like a superhero? And this is what destroys him completely. No, sweetheart, not like a superhero. He takes her hand. We gotta go. Let's go home. They leave together. Every phone in the gym tracking them. Every person watching. Witnessing James Cooper's carefully constructed invisibility shatter into 1,000 pieces. Elena watches from her office window. She knows exactly who he is now. And she knows exactly how much trouble he's in. That night, 2:47 a.m. James can't sleep. Hasn't even tried. Emma's asleep, clutching her drawing of the house. James is at the kitchen table, phone buzzing non-stop. Unknown numbers, messages, friend requests. The video is at 800,000 views now. News outlets requesting interviews. Former Marines reaching out. 3 different military contracting firms offering jobs. $200 Kelvins annually. Your skills are worth something, Captain. Private security companies. MMA gyms offering training positions. People from his past he hasn't talked to in years. Each message represents money. Real money. Life-changing money. But each one requires him to be the thing he's running from. He turns off his phone, sits in darkness. There's a knock at the door. 2:47 a.m. The time of the explosion. The time his watch stopped. The time he wakes up every night. He opens the door. Elena Vargas stands there, still in gym clothes. "We need to talk," she says. "I was at your hearing." 2015. Quantico. James goes white. "How did you—" "I'm the officer who cleared you, Captain Cooper." She holds up her phone. The photo from her office, zoomed in on his young face, barely visible in the background. "I knew I recognized that technique. There's only one person I've ever seen execute Garden of Stone that cleanly." She pauses. "The question is, why is the Marine Corps' most decorated MCMAP instructor cleaning toilets for $12 an hour?" James doesn't answer. Can't answer. Every defense he's built crumbling. Elena steps inside, sees the eviction notice on the table, the sparse apartment, Emma's drawings, the broken hair tie. She sits down at the kitchen table uninvited. "I've been trying to place you for 3 months, she says. Quantico, 2015. The hearing after Kandahar. 8 Marines dead. You were cleared, no negligence, equipment failure, not your fault. But you resigned your commission anyway. You remember wrong." James's voice is flat. 9 Marines. The report said 8. Tommy wasn't listed. They classified him differently because he was my brother. Conflict of interest. But 9 men died that day. Silence. The refrigerator hums. "I read your record, Captain. 3 tours. 47 confirmed combat actions. You designed half the MC map curriculum still used today. You were being groomed for command. Why are you here?" James looks at her. Really looks at her. "Because everyone I taught how to fight is dead or damaged. Because my wife spent her last breath making me promise to never hurt anyone again. Because I'm good at exactly one thing, and it's the thing that destroyed my life." Elena nods slowly. "You're good at being a father." James looks at sleeping Emma. "Am I? She's wearing her dead mother's cardigan in October because I can't afford a coat. She comforts Me about money. She's 8 years old." Elena slides an envelope across the table. "This month's rent, $2,400. And the field trip money." James recoils like it burned him. "I can't. You won the challenge. Derek owes you. I'm paying on his behalf because he's a coward. It's charity. It's payment for 3 months of you cleaning my office that didn't need cleaning because I could see you needed the work." James stares at the envelope. Everything he needs. Right there. "Why do you care?" he asks. Elena takes a breath. "Because I'm 52 years old. I own half a business I hate, with a partner I don't respect, because his father's money saved me when I was broke. I compromised, and it's eating me alive." She leans forward. "You didn't compromise. You'd rather clean toilets than be a weapon for hire. That's not weakness, Captain. That's the hardest thing a warrior can do." She stands. "Take the money. Feed your daughter. And when you're ready, we'll talk about what comes next." She leaves. The envelope sits on the table. $2,400. Between him and eviction. Between Emma having a home and sleeping in the car. But it's not enough. The eviction notice says, 7 days now, not 14. Someone changed it. Someone's pushing. James picks up the envelope, opens it. The money's real. He looks at Emma, sleeping with her drawing. The house that's being demolished in 3 days. He looks at his broken watch, still stopped at 2:47. But as he sits there in the dark apartment, something shifts. The second hand ticks. Once, twice, 3 times. Then stops again. But it moved. For the first time in 9 years, it moved. James doesn't know what that means yet. Doesn't know if Elena's offer is salvation or just another trap. Doesn't know if taking the money is accepting help or accepting defeat. What he knows is this: Emma needs medicine. Emma needs a winter coat. Emma needs a father who can afford $15 for a field trip without having a breakdown. And maybe, just maybe, being visible is better than being invisible if it means Emma gets to breathe easy. He puts the money in his wallet, closes his eyes. For the first time in 9 years, allows himself to imagine that maybe, possibly, he deserves help. Maybe Tommy wouldn't want him suffering like this. Maybe Sarah's last words weren't a prohibition against all violence, but against violence that serves no one. Maybe those 12 seconds weren't a failure. Maybe they were his body remembering something his mind forgot, that he knows how to protect people. That skill isn't the same as sin. Maybe. The watch ticks again. Keeps ticking this time. James sits in the dark apartment and listens to time moving forward. He thinks about Tommy, about Sarah, about Emma sleeping peacefully because she trusts him to figure it out. He thinks about Elena's words, "That's the hardest thing a warrior can do." Maybe she's right. Maybe hiding wasn't weakness. Maybe it was the hardest fight he's ever fought, the fight to be someone different than what he was trained to be. But maybe the fighting is over now. Maybe being visible, being seen, being known, maybe that's not the end of the world. Maybe it's the beginning of something else. He looks at Emma's drawing one more time. The house with blue shutters that's being demolished in 3 days. Their past being erased. But Emma's already drawing new pictures. Small apartments with stars on the ceiling. Their present. Their future. James picks up the broken hair tie. Ties the ends together as best he can. It's not perfect, but it holds. Just like him, the watch keeps ticking. Time moves forward. And for the first time in 9 years, James Cooper moves with it. If this story moved you, hit that like button. Drop a comment below telling me what you would do in James's situation. Would you accept help or keep hiding? And subscribe for more stories that explore what it really means to be strong. Thanks for watching.